A few weeks ago, I shared with you guys how I was tackling some declutter and organization projects around my house. And today it is time to tackle the big kahuna, my kitchen, which upon first glance doesn't look too shabby. But if you were to open up the cabinets and drawers in this space, they would tell a different story. My kitchen is not just a kitchen for us. It's kind of like my office because I work out here a lot, right? Making content about what's happening here in my kitchen for myself and for my family. And even though the cabinets and the drawers are not like overflowing with stuff, I've been needing to go through everything and get rid of some items that I don't use and just rearrange things and make the kitchen more functional for the stage of life that we're in. Make it easier for the kids to reach things that they use or help put away when they do chores, kind of rethink some of the things that I have and whether or not I'm using them or need to hang on to them for any longer. What I want to do is, over the course of a few days, empty every single cabinet and drawer, or as many as I can, get rid of anything that I don't want to keep, rearrange some spaces, make it more functional for us. I'll share with you some of my favorite items and how I use them along the way, and hopefully give you some inspiration for your own kitchens, whether you have an already established one or you're just starting out. This is a cabinet that is in desperate need of a reorganization. Look at all that wasted space. I need to adjust the shelves here and bring them down. For one thing, it's right above the dishwasher, and one of the chores that the kids do for us now is unload the dishes, but they can't even reach some of these shelves to put things away, so they end up climbing on the counters, which I do not love. So I am going to take everything out and probably get rid of a few items and just rearrange this cabinet, and maybe even I'll have room for some other things, but make it more accessible for the kids to use, since this is where we, put most of our just regular everyday plates and bowls. I tell you what, these shelves have not been as easy to move around as I thought. When my channel started getting bigger and I started to film more in my kitchen, I started to just pick up white dishes as I saw them. So I just have sort of a hodgepodge mismatched set of white dishes. And some of them are a little bit worse for the wear. I've got lots of chipped bowls and plates in here. Might be time to replace those eventually. Also, I held on to these little sippy cups because we sometimes had friends over who had younger kids that needed these, but these, tend to get kind of icky after a while because of the plastic or the silicone that's in them, and they're just not clean anymore. So I'm gonna just trash these. Oh, my kids were so adorable when they drank from these. They're still adorable. They're just a lot bigger and don't need sippy cups anymore. This drawer is what I call the sharp drawer, just because it's got like vegetable peelers and, cheese slicers and pizza slicers and knives that I don't have room for in my knife block. And I definitely need to go through this and probably get rid of a few things and just reorganize it. Bonus points if you know what this is. It is not a cookie cutter. Comment down below if you know what this is used for. Don't even know what this little brush was for. Probably a bottle or something. It's going in the trash. A few of these knives I never use because I invested in some higher quality chef's knives. So I'm gonna put these in a box, in like a shoe box, and just set them aside for a little bit until I figure out how to dispose of them, because I don't think I can just donate those like to Goodwill or something like that. I'll have to do a little research. So I'm just gonna keep removing everything from here. I will probably prune as I go, meaning just get rid of items that, are old, that don't work very well anymore, that I don't need anymore, that I have duplicates of. And I actually found some more organizers like this one so that I can wipe this drawer out and then put everything back in. I don't even know what this is for. Let's talk about some things that I use almost every day or several times a week here in my kitchen. I consider these to be kitchen utensil essentials. Essential utensils. Essential utensils. Say that 10 times fast. I prefer when I'm cooking to use wooden spoons and silicone tongs, whisks, and spatulas. And the reason for this is because I can use all of these interchangeably in just about every piece of cookware that I own. Metal utensils like these tongs here, I have to be very careful. They'll scratch some of my stainless steel, they'll scratch my Dutch oven, so I really don't use these very often. I tend to go for the things that are more friendly to my cookware, and also these are dishwasher safe. I usually just pop these in the top rack of the dishwasher after I rinse them off, and that's how I clean them. You guys have seen me use this thing over and over and over again in my videos. I do not know what the actual name of this utensil is. I just call it a meat chopper or a meat separator, and I use this just to separate ground meat as I am cooking it on the stove, as I'm browning hamburger or ground sausage or ground chicken. This thing has come in super handy. I actually would like to purchase another one because sometimes it's in the dishwasher when I need it and I've got to pull it out and wash it by hand. Wouldn't mind having 2 of these. That's how much I like this. I think I got this one at Target. I've seen these in several different stores. Not super hard to find. I'll leave one linked on Amazon in the description box below, along with a few of these other items. A really good chef's knife. A lot of knife injuries happen in the kitchen because of dull cutlery. This one right here is from Rada. I have absolutely loved it. It is very lightweight. I also have a couple of their paring knives and their peelers. I had the pleasure of working with them back in December, and I have never had so many people leave me comments and let me know how much they liked Rada products. So I'll leave them linked in the description box below. I also have a 10% off discount code with them. I will leave that linked in the description box as well, so you can get 10% off your Rada order if you're interested in checking out their products. Another thing I have really liked and I've been using a lot are these silicone mats that I put on top of my wooden cutting board. It protects my wooden cutting board so it doesn't get damaged as quickly, and these are super easy to clean. And I've seen these in multiple stores, cooking aisles in multiple stores. I think I got this set, I have a set of 3 at Target. I've seen them at Walmart, I've seen them other places. I think you can order them on Amazon, but really good shortcut and something to protect my higher quality cutting boards. I'll also say I use this thing a lot. It's a little handheld cheese grater. I do have a rotary grater that I purchased last year, but I find that I rarely put it together because it's a few different pieces and all those pieces have to be washed every time I use it. So I really only get that out if I'm grating a lot of cheese, but just for a little bit of cheese for a recipe, I'll use this. But I probably need to get like a really good quality stand-up box grater. So if you have any recommendations where that's concerned, something that lasts a long time, let me know in the comments. Also leave me a comment if there is something that you just cannot live without in your kitchen. What is that thing that you use over and over and over again that you think everybody needs to know about? I'm interested in hearing. I want to take a minute and thank HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. I have loved getting to work with Green Chef for about the last year and a half, but when their parent company, HelloFresh, who owns Green Chef, reached out and said, hey, do you want to try HelloFresh for a little while? I was like, yes. Please. I'm so excited to be trying out some HelloFresh meals. Green Chef is something that I splurged on for my husband and myself. HelloFresh is something that I'm sharing with my whole family. HelloFresh offers a weekly menu with over 35 recipes to choose from, including options for Calorie Smart and Carb Smart. And they even just released a new line of meals called Fast and Fresh that are ready in about 15 minutes or less. They definitely know how to speak to this mom with those kinds of meals. And this week was a perfect week for me to try them out because doing this kind of project in my kitchen along with all of the other things in my day-to-day schedule, it was nice to just open up the refrigerator and pull out one of those meals and have everything that I needed and a recipe card that showed me exactly what to make so that I can make a delicious meal still in my own kitchen, but not have to worry about the grocery store or scrolling through recipes, trying to figure out what I could make really quickly for my family. Now is a great time to try HelloFresh if you haven't, because they're offering a really great sign-up deal. When you go to HelloFresh.com and you use my code Mindy21, you're gonna get 21 free meals plus free shipping when you sign up. Just visit the link in the description box below or HelloFresh.com. Use my code Mindy21. Again, that's for 21 free meals plus free shipping. What a great deal. Thank you again to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to check out the link in the description box below or visit HelloFresh.com and use the code Mindy21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping when you sign up. Let's talk about cookware for just a second, namely pots and pans. When my husband and I first got married, we were gifted a Calphalon set of pots and pans. They were non-stick pots and pans with lids, and I used those for many years. But over the past 4 or 5 years, I've been getting rid of those systematically because that's the thing about non-stick cookware. It isn't made to last a lifetime. It won't remain non-stick forever. The non-stick coating begins to come off. I have instead been replacing it with stainless steel. I used to think that cooking with stainless steel was a surefire way to burn my food, but I discovered that as long as I am using an appropriate amount of liquid, or in the case of meats, oil, in the recipe, and I'm cooking it at an appropriate temperature and keeping an eye on it, the risk of burning my food and scorching my pot goes way down. Imagine that. I have just a couple of your basic little saucepans, but my favorite pan to cook in is this 5-quart Rondo. It's a tall skillet. The skillet has like a 3 or 4 inch side wall, so you can fit a lot more in it than just a basic skillet. It's one of my favorites. I also have, and you've seen it in tons of videos, a Dutch oven. It was a gift from my sister. It is a Le Creuset. They are kind of pricey. Not just kind of, I think they're very pricey. I will say though that I would probably still invest in one if I hadn't have received one. I would have just saved up and invested in a really good Dutch oven because they're so versatile, and those are made to last a very long time if you take good care of them. One thing it's time for me to prune from my kitchen are some of my old cookie sheets. I invested in a couple of cookie sheets from USA Pan a couple of years ago. I have really, really liked those. So I'm probably going to get rid of a few of my older ones that are just a little more flimsy. They're not as well made, they're warped. Like, these probably need to go on their merry way. I don't find that I'm using them as much either. And I could create a little bit more storage space up here above my oven for other things that I do use. Down here underneath my stove is kind of an awkward space. It's not even really great for pots and pans because there's no shelving. So I have my KitchenAid mixer, my air fryer, and then back there is my Instant Pot. And these are things that I don't want to get rid of because I use them often enough that I want to keep them, but I don't use them every day or even every week. So this is a good space for them. They're nice and secure down there, and that's a good use of this particular kind of awkward space for me. I just recently kind of cleaned out this drawer where we keep our silverware, and down here I just keep like cutting boards and things, so I probably just, oh, look, there's like a piece of trash in there, but just need to probably go through these and make sure there's not 1 or 2 that I'm ready to get rid of. I don't even remember what I have in this bottle. Oh, okay, like baby plates and stuff. Yeah, we're probably done with these, so I might keep just maybe these so that we can have some for when guests come, but the rest of these, especially the seasonal ones, I'll probably get rid of those. I just found all of this in the back of this drawer. Ugh. This particular drawer is the one that I am going to need to address. These are all for baking, like measuring cups and spoons and my rolling pin, and there's cookie cutters and stuff in here. So all of this needs to come out. Some things probably need to go on their merry way. I need to see like what complete sets of items I even have. We'll get to work on this. A few of these were barely used and are in good enough shape to donate, but a lot of these are just really old and worn out. They're not in good enough shape to send to the donation center, and if they're not recyclable, they're just gonna have to go in the trash, unfortunately. It happens, you know? I can't save or repurpose every item, and I don't wanna send trash to the Goodwill for them to throw out. And these served a good purpose, and we got a lot of use out of them. I find it easier for myself to get motivated to tackle this kind of project by taking it in little bite-sized chunks. So by doing little projects across several days, maybe carving out half an hour to devote to it across an entire week, that is the way that I approach it that makes it seem more manageable. You are actually sitting in a completely empty cabinet that used to hold all of my spices because I have already taken them all out of this cabinet and put them into an over-the-door spice rack that I got from Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description box. And that has not only freed up an entire cabinet in my kitchen space now, it has also made all of my spices and seasonings more visible for me because I was having trouble seeing them where they were stored. This is another empty cabinet on the other side of my kitchen where I used to store my Christmas dishes. I purchased some dish storage containers from Bed Bath & Beyond a few days ago, and I moved all of my Christmas dishes out and I stored them with the Christmas decorations because I got to thinking, why am I keeping these in my kitchen when I really only use them 1 month out of the year? I could unpack them with my Christmas decorations, store my regular dishes in the containers during the month of December, and then switch them back out again in January when I'm putting things away. So this has freed up another entire cabinet for me in my kitchen space. Did you really think we were going to get out of this video without me talking about crock pots? I don't think so. I have several different slow cookers right now. I've owned so many from so many different brands, different sizes, different dimensions. So I thought I'd talk about a few of my favorites. This one right here is just the basic Crock Pot brand crock pot. It's not digital. It has a manual dial with just 3 heat settings, low, high, and warm. This is, I believe, a 7-quart crock pot. And I see these in Walmart for like $30 to $40, sometimes on sale for lower than that, just the basic model. I like to get the 7-quart as opposed to the 6-quart or the 4-quart because I like to be able to cook an entire like pork roast or a big batch of chili or something like that in it and not have to worry about it being overfilled. My only qualm with this crock pot is that I feel like it cooks a little bit high. Like the high setting is a little too hot and the low setting is a little bit too hot. So I just try to keep an eye on things. Also, this little thing right here is called a lid pocket. I'll leave it linked in the description box. I got it from Amazon. It just fits on the back of the crock pot, not just Crock Pot brand. I think there are other brands it works with, and you can sit the lid inside of it whenever you lift it off the crock pot instead of laying it on the counter. I have really liked having this thing. This one right here is my Instant Pot Aura. It is a multi-function cooker. It is not an Instant Pot. It is an Instant Pot brand of slow cooker. Unfortunately, they do not make them anymore. They've been discontinued, but I like using this one for making like soups or making different sauces that require you to brown some kind of meat in advance before starting the crock pot recipe. I will say that I have been very intrigued by a Cuisinart version of this kind of slow cooker, and it only has 3 settings: the slow cooker setting, and then the brown or saute and the steam setting, which are really the only settings that I use on this. So I'll leave that linked in the description box below. I haven't purchased one yet, but I'm thinking about it. If you have that one, let me know. My favorite slow cooker that I ever owned, the best in my opinion, was one made by Calphalon, and they stopped making it. In fact, I was so sad when I cracked the insert. That's usually what happens to me with the slow cookers. I'm just careless when I'm cleaning them, but I was so sad when that insert cracked and I called the company to try to get another one and they couldn't replace it. But the second best slow cooker that I have ever owned, or at least my second most favorite, my second favoritist, number 2 for me was one from Hamilton Beach, which is really an affordable small appliance line. I see them in Walmart, and it is the Hamilton Beach Set and Forget digital slow cooker. And it has, you know, low and high and warm functions, but you can set the time to the half hour. So if you need to cook something for 4.5 hours or for 10.5 hours, you can program it to cook that long, and then it will automatically switch over to warm when the cooking cycle is over. And I found that to be very helpful when I was still teaching, because I could leave my house at like 7:30 in the morning and not get home until 5 o'clock at night, but not have dinner like overcooked because it was only supposed to cook for 7 hours instead of 10. One thing I did not realize about white cabinets until I had them was just how much I would be wiping them down and cleaning them. They show every speck of dirt, dust, grime, every drip, every spill. I feel like I'm constantly wiping them down. So something to keep in mind if white cabinets are on your wish list. It might not look too different on the outside, but behind many of those cabinets and drawers, things are just much more organized. I got rid of an entire box of things. I took several things to the trash. I still have a few drawers and cabinets that I need to go through. So this project isn't quite complete. However, I am trying to rid myself of my perfectionist attitude because it can be really paralyzing, and making some progress is better than none at all. So over the next few weeks, I can still tackle the handful of corners of this kitchen, cabinets and drawers that I need to visit and complete this project, but I've got a really, really good start, and I hope that it gave you some inspiration and encouragement for a space that you'd like to challenge.